pasta is nachos. Y'all go ahead and take a seat. It's good to see you. I'm so glad you're here. Oh man, I'll tell you what, I wish Laura could be here to see this. Y'all, anybody think Laura Bush is a good first lady? Yeah. Wait, does anybody out here think Laura Bush was a pretty good first lady? I wouldn't have been able to get home. Oh, I appreciate that. You know, Laura, she prays for me. She listens to me. I think she even voted for me. And she is a world leader in her own right who has been on the Get Motivated stage. And she is, you know, I'll give you an example of the kind of lady she is. When we left Washington, headed back from Texas, we wanted to drive across the state, you know, so we could get that Texas dust back up in our lungs. And so we had my Ford F-150, we're tooling across the state, and we stopped in Waco to gas her up with some flex fuel. And, you know, I gassed up the truck, and then I reached around to stick the card in, and I hadn't got my wallet back yet from the Secret Service. So I said, Laura, honey, would you mind going in and paying for the gas? She said, sure, George. So she goes in there, she's in there 20 seconds, and she says, George, get in here. I'm like, what? You know, so I go in there, and guess what? The guy behind the counter was one of Laura's old flames. High school, so we had to do the autographs, you know, and the back slaps and all like that. We got back up in the truck and tooled off down the road, and I got a chuckle. Laura said, what? I said, think about it, honey. If you'd have married that guy, you'd be working here. She didn't bat an eye. She said, George, if I'd have married him, he'd have been president. That's right. And with that, I want to give a shout out to all of the ladies in the room. Without Laura, I could never have done what I have done. Well, shoot, I'd have never been born. Without the other First Lady Bush, Barbara Bush. And so anyway, I also want to give a shout out to America's first responders, her police, her firefighters, her, you know, ministers, the people that stand between us and danger each and every day. You say, why ministers? Well, are you kidding? Police fight things they can see. Ministers are going after ghosts and stuff. That's important too. So let's let these folks know that we love them. And how about the troops? The Army, Navy. And a privilege to have a chance to be around those self-sacrificing Americans, people who know that to give is how you receive, to do for others, and you did for yourself. I'll tell you what, that's what it's all about here at the Get Motivated Seminar. Learning that giving precedes receiving. My friend Zig Ziglar used to say, if you want something in life, help enough other people get what they want, and you'll get what you want. I love that. It's such an important principle. It comes from the good book. And you know, I'll never forget the first time I got a chance to do something for the troops, to give a little something back. It was Thanksgiving, 2003. We went over there to encourage the troops. It's hard to sneak the president out of the country, but we did it. It was on Thanksgiving 2003, a moonless night. And there was no lights. We told them over there in the Middle East, no lights. So it was pitch black. No landing lights, no running lights. I mean, we had to feel that plane in. I won't say we hit anything when we landed, but Laura and I got new camel hair coats out of the deal. Speaking of animal clothing, I just picked up my new ostrich skin boots, but I gotta tell you, no ostriches were harmed in the making of these boots. They were harmed before the making of the boots. Weird thing is, Cheney was aiming at a deer. Oh boy. We went over there to encourage the troops to eat a little turkey with the boys and to prove that America does not have arachnophobia.
Not arachnophobia, arachnophobia.
That's my only real joke, I'm sorry. Folks, hey, y'all like my post-presidential Secret Service agent?
Yeah!
Yeah, that's all Obama They're lethal, don't test them. Oh man, today I want to leave you with 3 quick little points as I prepare myself also to enjoy the seminar. Say this after me. Courage.
Courage.
Communication.
Communication.
Character.
Character.
I call those the 4 C's of leadership. Hey, it takes a lot of courage to do what I did. Around the country, face terrorists, be anywhere close to Dick Cheney. You know what we call this in Washington? The Cheney reaction. Somebody put a sticker on the limousine one day that said, "Duck, duck, goose, Cheney's loose." But hey, you know when you're a leader, and each of you are leaders of businesses, even of families, of marriages, of neighborhoods, when you're a leader, you've got to lead by your principles, live by your values. First, you've got to know what those principles and values are. And then they've got to be the guiding rudder for your life. And when you live by those principles, you'll know you're right where you want to be, even when it seems like nobody else thinks your ideas are any good. That's something I had to put up with, you know. But it's all right, it made me tough, sir. I've got thick skin like an elephant, which is the symbol of the Republican Party. My Democratic friends here today are depicted as a donkey, or as my friends to the south call you, burritos. Now, the second C, communication. Do not misunderestimate the importance of communication. In fact, I've studied the studies, and good communication is only 15% verbal, which in my case is a good thing. But although I must say, I sometimes mess up my pronunciation, in over 9 different body languages, some of which I had to abandon after I got saved. But when you're bilingual, as I am, you have to be very careful to use the words you mean to use with intentionality, or else you can create an international incident, as me and the boys learned recently during a trip to Kyrgyzstan. There's a big difference between saying I want a cracker and I am a cracker. Now, the third C is character. And I know everyone in this room knows what I mean by character. Integrity, morality, traditional family values, who you are when no one's looking. I've had the privilege of flying Air Force One, all around, Air Force One. Now that's a man cave. I've slept in Buckingham Palace. I've watched the sunrise over Jerusalem. And I've feasted in the deserts of Abu Dhabi. I like that word. It's a great word, Abu Dhabi. It sounds like Bibbidi Bobbidi. So, to capsize what I'm trying to get across to you, I stand strong on the 3 C's of leadership, and what I'd like to do is continue to find the ways to be an influencer, a motivator, an inspirator. And I got asking myself, what is it that really moves people, you know? And well, music is one of the things that influences folks. Well, think about it. Each one of us, we've got songs in our heart. Songs that help to define us. Songs that mean a lot when we hear them. And then there's great anthems, great American anthems like this. Help me out with this one. Oh, say, can you see? See? That's the 4th C, by the way. You know, I like the letter C, but D is my favorite letter. You know why, sir? Because it's the first letter in the word W.
W.
So anyway, in order to continue to be an influencer, I've started taking guitar lessons. That's right. From our friend Willie Nelson. He's legal in Colorado. And I brought my guitar. Y'all want to hear a quick song?
Willie Nelson, you say? Usually gonna call it.
My pick out of
They
my
gonna
hip
call it a
pocket.
weed. A little weed.
Okay, now, here we go. See, now I'm up to 2 strings. But it's amazing what you can do with 2 strings. Watch this. That's right. Is this on? Plug it down. Oh, it's on mute, that's why. Here, where? I unmuted it, boys. Get ready. Is that better?
Yes.
All right, good, good. All right. Well, I'm a free world leader. Freedom rolling out to you.
Oh my God.
Well, I'm the free world leader. Freedom rolling out to you. Oh, let it roll. Well, I'm the good news instigator. Compassionate conversation. Freedom is rocking and rolling on after you. Got me a nuclear buster.
Nuclear buster.
Protecting freedom, that's what I do. Got me a daisy cluster. Protecting the red, white, and blue. Well, you best not mess with U.S., baby, or U.S. sure will mess with you. Yeah, let's hear it for the red, white, and blue. Oh, come on now. Okay, let's cheer for the dancing Secret Service. Oh yeah. Now here's one about Laura. Well, I'm a Laura lover. Ooh, that lovely lady stays on my mind. Oh, she's so fine. Well, I'm a Laura lover. That lovely lady stays on my mind. That was a president doing the king. Well, I'm so glad I got her love for my own now. Sweet child, there won't be no child left behind. Seems how lately been. Got a bad case of red, white, and
I know, right? Nobody will do that.
folks, I know you guys probably figured out by now that I'm not really George W. Bush. Yeah, my name is John Morgan.
Really? It is.
For the people. And you know, when someone first came to me about the idea of becoming an impersonator, I just kind of mocked them, lovingly, and said, no, I don't think so. Because I just kind of had an impression that people who did that probably needed counseling. And I had fear of man issues. I had fear issues, thinking this as much. Is this better?
Yeah.
Crackling?
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Yes, indeed. And I didn't want to do it. In fact, I decided I wasn't going to do it. I had worked in the same job for 20 years and had this sense that there was something more I was supposed to do with my life. I had a dream in my heart, but I didn't know how to define the dream. And I just decided I wasn't going to pursue this until one night, my wife, my precious bride, who happens to be sitting here on the second row, my own Laura Bush, Kathy Morgan, she saw a George Bush impersonator on national television. And the idea came to her, Google George Bush impersonator. So she did. She found out that he makes a lot more money than I did. So she woke me up out of a dead sleep. Grabbed me by the scruff of the pajamas and said, I just found your new career. You're going to become a George Bush impersonator. And she dragged me over to the computer and showed me a couple of websites of different people that were doing it, making a living at it. I thought, that's interesting, but no way. And the overarching reason was fear.
False evidence.
The first half of my life, all of my decision making was based upon what hurt the least, based on fear, rejection. What would happen if I messed up? These fears owned me. And when I gave my life to God, that turned around. But here I was faced with a new opportunity. But I was just convinced there's no way I was supposed to do it. And then I had this thought, well, how do you know it's not God? And as somebody who's sold out to his purposes, I couldn't ignore that thought. Because I didn't want to know what it would be like 10 years later looking back at what might have been. So I decided to pursue it, thinking all the while that I would be a laughingstock, that my kids would just, cower and be embarrassed. Well, you just never know what's in front of you. A lot of times, I found out that the things I fear the most are the things I should pursue. It's almost like a reverse roadmap. It's pushing this way. The greatest amount of resistance is the direction I should flow. And now, 13 years later, I've been on national TV in 5, 6 different countries, including China, Germany, Japan, Holland. So I pumped 2 billion people at once. Wow. Sounds very fun. And so, today, we are all here to overcome the roadblocks and obstacles that are keeping us from achieving the dreams that are in our hearts. And as one who never would have seen that it would be possible to overcome those fears, and now on the other side and dealing with new fears, but overcoming them, I just want to encourage you to believe. Believe that what today is all about, you can achieve. Believe that at the end of this seminar, when you're on your way with all your pile of notes, that your life will never be the same. Thank you for investing your time with Get Motivated Seminar. I'm so glad you're here today. God bless you, and God bless you.